before we talk about the game, can we just address the fact that Coach Steve Barker did something that is beneath him? Coming out after the game and talking about how Chiefs were getting more free kicks, they're always getting red cards, they're always getting penalties and set pieces. It's really beneath him. Because we know this, Uguti Chiefs were always putting Stellenbosch under pressure because he decided to be confident and play a high line against a team that has pacey strikers, against a team that has skillful players who will dribble past you from time to time. And then you get frustrated when your players fail to handle that, and then they end up fouling the players. And then now it seems like you are being robbed. But instead of setting up your team in a way that was going to beat Chiefs, you set up your team as if you can just beat Chiefs at their own game. We know that's not Stellenbosch's game. They don't play like that. Yet now you come out, you're playing against the Chiefs with a high line. You are pressing them high. You are leaving spaces all over. If a game plan yake wasn't flawed, then why did he have to make adjustments in the midfield and change players? Don't come to me and tell me, Uguti, it's because they were one man down and stuff like that. Then he could have addressed that there and there the moment after the red card was awarded. But he didn't address that. He only realized, Uguti, wait a minute, this is beyond the red card, and then he had to adjust the midfield. And to be honest, credit to him, after he made those adjustments in the midfield, as a result, you ended up seeing Uguti, they were better in that midfield. So he shouldn't come out here and make it seem like Chiefs are always getting benefits. No. If when are you going to come with the mentality Uguti, it's easy to play against Chiefs and just make your midfielders as far apart from each other as they possibly can, then Chiefs will exploit you. And that's exactly what happened. So people shouldn't be coming around here sulking, who actually put themselves in a position where they end up like under pressure. So it's just beneath him. Anyways, hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Bilo, I'm your host. This is where fans meet and they talk about Kaizer Chiefs, Khosi Football Club, and we are reacting to the win Kaizer Chiefs against Stellenbosch. We won the game 2-1. In fact, to be honest, the game could have ended 10-5. Right, because we created so many chances but we didn't convert the chances. But let's go through the match, the main key points in my opinion. So the first thing really is the one that I've already addressed. I said this before the match. I said this against Pietermaritzburg United. I said this before Kaizer. Uguti teams should not try to be smart against the Chiefs. Don't try to press the Chiefs high. We have Utupri, we have Usahil, we have Utol. As much as Utoling Aseko that pacey, but the pacey is still troublesome enough for defenders. And we exploited that. And Zwane is using that to his advantage now. Because we've seen Uguti tried playing Caleb through the middle, but he sees Uguti doesn't work. So now he's preferring players who are pacey and are able to dribble and run past players. And then Stellenbosch did just that, and then there were spaces behind them. If there were no spaces behind the Stellenbosch, we were not going to create this the chances that led to a pen, right? If there were no spaces behind the Stellenbosch, then the goalkeeper wouldn't have been forced to come out of his goal and save the ball with his hand outside of the 18 area, a clear penalty by the way. So I think AMA teams, they are not realizing this. They're underestimating the Chiefs, and the Chiefs is consistently punishing them. And that's good because we should play to our strengths, because people will keep on underestimating us, and then Zwane should continue exploiting that. Obviously, our players did not exploit that into its fullest, because we got more chances where we could have passed, but we didn't. Got more chances where we could have taken a shot or dribbled past one player and then made the final pass. There were chances where we were 3v3, but then we couldn't convert. But you see, the system by the coach is set up in a way that it exploits anyone who leaves the defense unorganized, anyone who leaves spaces behind the defense. It's just that our players are failing to execute that strategy. And right now, we should be utilizing that before teams catch up, we are really, or catch on to see we are really trying to utilize these spaces that they keep on leaving behind their defenses. So I think Zwane with that, he got that really correct. And when it comes to our players, the man of the match being Samkelo Zwane, who deserved it. We saw today they were playing with much more confidence, right? Although people did highlight at halftime Ugutu Toli and maybe some of our other players like Obomtu, they must know when to pass and when to hold on to the ball. Because sometimes in the system that we have, our players are constantly moving. Dupre is moving behind, Usail is moving behind because again, there are spaces. But then that split second where you hold on to the ball, then the player is offside. All of a sudden, the ball is no longer useful. Take for example Uhlanti, who also had a good game by the way, defensively and offensively. Uhlanti, you're doing the things. There was the goal where we ended up the ball that led to a pen. Uhlanti gets the ball, he passes it quick, really quick, and then Dupre is making that diagonal run, and then they trip him, and then it's a penalty because there is constant movement, and the ball must be moved in accordance to the movement of the players. Because if you are slow in your build-up, yet you have attackers who are quick and are trying to make the runs across as quickly as possible, then move the ball as quickly as possible. That's exactly how you are going to beat Lama teams. And so we get a pen, we score a pen, and then the next thing is that what I liked about the interplays is that even with our goal, we were swarming Stellenbosch, we were forcing them to making mistakes. And because of that, even when they were defending panicking. That is what led to the second goal, Chiefs, because they were trying to defend and were always there in their faces. And then the ball falls to Toli, and then Utoli hits the ball, and then it's a net. By the way, I think he's not given credit enough for that goal because he didn't go for power. He just went for not placement because he didn't like place it, but it was just directed enough, guided enough. It's going to the bottom corner, and then the keeper couldn't catch the ball, even though the defender tried to block it, but then it didn't help. So credit to Dolly again. He scores the second goal because he scored against Pietermaritzburg as well. So he's getting himself in the right positions and he's scoring goals. Good for him once again. And then another thing is that, so the keeper got the red card early on in the game. I forgot to write when that was. By the way, please like the video if you're enjoying it so that this video can be shown to more people like you and the channel can grow. And subscribe as well, because in this channel we speak everything that has to do with the Kaizer Chiefs. Anyways, what happens is that they saw Uguti midfield Yabo was struggling because when the keeper got a red card, they were trying to just bring in someone who's going to basically take out someone and bring in the keeper. But then they didn't address the situation in the midfield, which they then addressed with the double change on the 37th minute to show Uguti. They knew Uguti things were not happening really well. So Chiefs were really dominant in the first half. Samkelo, Tebe, they were really a really good combination. And Samkelo can claim Uguti he should take over from Umat maybe for the next game or two, because he really played well today, spreading those passes and just being comfortable on the ball, turning other midfielders and just making things happen in that midfield. And also, I will say today, Uguti, he was really good when it comes to making challenges, because in previous matches he's played, but his defensive side has not been shown that much. But today was the chance where he actually he actually played well, and defensively and offensively. Then the goal I don't understand how we concede that goal, because we have a situation where I think it was Mendieta. So the first thing is the player on the ball. Let me just say the player on the ball because I don't remember who. He's on the ball. One, I will blame Ngebona around him. Stebe could be pressing. Zwane could be pressing that ball. And also, they could be pressing Samkelo. They could be pressing the guy on the ball. No one is pressing him. He can see a run of the player. I think it was Uchapar. Yes, I wrote to Uchapar. All of them, they just go to sleep. No one is pressing the player on the ball. Dove is just sleeping. His ball watching. The ball just goes behind him. Because if he had seen Uguti there's a player running, then he would have tracked that run, because he just gets the ball and then it's a simple tap in against the keeper. But also, extension. Uhlanti is also standing as the last man of the line. He's looking at everyone, Dove, Ngezana, Solomons. He can see the pass go across. He can see the player who's running across. But there's no shout to Gutaibo Dove, there's someone running behind you. They'll go to sleep, and all of a sudden, a team that is one man down and 2 goals down they are all of a sudden trying to give us a game. Unacceptable, because our players are very experienced, and we shouldn't be having such. We shouldn't be talking about this thing. By the way, I might be wrong about Ugutu was supposed to press between Umtu and Stebe, but one of them was supposed to press because they were close enough. Just had to say that. Anyways, I haven't watched it back. And then the second thing is that Velek, as I said, I didn't say this, it was on another intro. Our team can't handle leading. We just fail. Every time we are ahead of games, we tend to just relax, right? I mean, we have an opportunity, right? We have an opportunity to score as many goals as possible, because you look at the goal difference at Pirates in the Super Sport. All of us have 40 points. Super Sport, Pirates, Chiefs, all have 40 points, tied. But the problem is, each Chiefs has equal difference that is inferior to Pirates in the Super Sport. If we had scored 3 more goals today and conceded none, we have 4 more goals with goal difference here to are helping it. Play against or cheaper, we do the same thing. We score 5 goals, we're closing that gap. But now we didn't do that, and it might end up being a season where it goes down to goal difference, and the goal difference here too is not that great. So our players should really stop this thing. Yoguti, once we are leading, we become complacent. That's the first thing. The second thing that we should stop is, by the way, I'm saying this in a positive way, not good we suck, but we should stop being selfish once we are ahead. Because once we get a goal or 2, we now start thinking, oh no, now it's time for me to score my own goal. Right? There was a chance we could have played the ball across. He didn't. Yabo, they don't see each other. There was a time Utoli where he would have played the ball for Hlant, and then Hlant was going to play a cutback, I think. And then again, tries to go by himself. So there are these things that we end up doing. We are complacent and we think, oh no, now it's time for me to go for glory. A 2-0 lead is not safe enough. You can think you are safe once maybe you are 3-0, because it's very rare for teams to come back from 3 goals down. But 2 goals, it's very risky, because they score 1 goal and all of a sudden they are looking for the second goal and you're under pressure and then you lose. So our team, they do this even if we're one goal up. So I think coach should address that issue, which we should stop being complacent. And he didn't look happy. Even in his post-match interview, he did mention Guti, we become complacent, we relax, the game is too easy for us. Because I have said this, so good, our players, it's up to Guti, they show up or they don't. Because they think sometimes the games they win or they win it before we play it. And then if we win the game before we play it, that's where you see each Chiefs struggling the entire game. But in games where we win it after scoring, right? You get what I'm saying? I'm not sounding stupid. Saying once we score 1 goal, we think we've won. Then that's where the game comes at us in a way that we usually don't expect, right? Against Maritzburg, we score 2 goals and we think, oh, we've won. We relax. Maritzburg comes back. Against Arrows, we're 2-1 up, and then we think we've won. We start being selfish. So there's a trend, and that thing needs to be addressed. Don't be complacent and don't do nonsense. Just continue punishing teams and score more goals. Score as many goals as you can. Then you can relax and do all the nonsense that you want to do. If you haven't liked the video, by the way, and you are still watching to this far, what are you doing? Please like the video. Anyways, next, Marcian comes in for Sahil. And by the way, I am really happy for Marcian. Get it? Get it? No? Because, I mean, it to me, usually he usually comes on for Hlant, but Hlant, as I said, he played a good game today. But in Namhlanje, they brought him on for Sahil, which for one was good, because Sahil was under pressure and was ended up losing balls unnecessarily, and the fans were not happy. But he was just putting himself under pressure, which is doing things that are not necessary, because once again he's trying to score a goal, which should never be a purpose. I'm trying to score a goal. It should be, let's try and score a goal, because then you are no longer thinking about your stats, but you're thinking about helping the team score goals, right? So again, we should be thinking about that. So Zwane takes him off, Marcian comes on, which I think is good, because that means he's trusting him more and more with different roles in the team, and that means we will see him play. I know Mpo is not happy about this point, but yeah, It's true. And then the next one is Brendan should trust his defenders, right? He should trust his defenders because there was a time where he clashed, where he went out, Ungezana, not Dove. They had it. There was like a sandwich of a Stellenbosch player between Udove and Ungezana. And then Brendan comes out, and then they ended up shouting at each other. And I did say this, Uguti, one thing I like about Udove, Uguti, he's solid, but because he's solid, players who are underperforming, they end up annoying him. So he was shouting, and Ungezana ubengakhuzi naye. Uyababuka nje bethethisana. I'm like, dude, say something. Just say, guys, and then address it afterwards, because once you are angry at each other during the game, a lot of things might end up happening. Anyways, Brendan, by the way, I will talk about him later. Matlo comes in for Utoli. I didn't understand why Matlo came in for Utoli, because I'm thinking of it right now. It was possibly to slow down the game because Stellenbosch were trying to attack us. So then Matlo was there to control the tempo of the game, which was smart. I just thought of that right now, actually, because what I thought initially was that at that time, if you're taking out Tutoli, bring on Sekgot. I know we've said this about Sekgot, Uguti is predictable by defenders, but the thing is, there was a space that he loves running into, and then in this game, there was that space, and he could have run into that space, could have crossed the ball, or he could have scored the goal himself. He was introduced later on for Umdu, but I feel like he could have been brought on the for Utoli to basically exploit that space, because the space was still there. Because if you can still find a way of scoring a goal, then score a goal. But Zwane at the time, I think, was prioritizing controlling the game, and then I didn't see him that much. So kuluma ngabok player ratings. And then again, Utupri, there was that chance, could have passed the ball, but it didn't pass the ball. At the end of the game, we were saved by Peterson with that save. My God, that is why we need to be scoring goals. But I will say this, at the end of the day, we're able to win the game 2-1, won the game, we have 3 points, we're tied with these 3 guys. So now what we have next, we have a super spot towards the end of the season. And if we stay like this, tied with them, the only thing that we need to do against super sport is to win against them, right? And then all of a sudden we're ahead of them. So I am like, okay, first win out of the 7, we can win 3 more, and then we'll be in a good place. Guys, what did you think of the match? Let me know down on the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next time. And until next time, remember, equals and Pelumoy.